I want to make great wine.
Yeah.
And that is, that's not tinkering in a lab as much as it is super interesting and fun. Like it's understanding your vineyards and your terroir and I want to be doing that.
Welcome to Series 3 of Healthy Minds, Healthy Vines, a podcast proudly developed by the Wine Grape Council of South Australia and hosted by Callum McPherson and Nick Ryan. I'm Lisa Bonnier, CEO of the Council, and I'm delighted to bring you this series. The Wine Grape Council of South Australia represents our state's independent wine grape growers. We aim to provide growers with timely support and effective representation through advocacy, collaboration, and knowledge building. South Australia is home to just over half of Australia's vineyard area, and it's the diversity of our independent growers, their stories, challenges, and opportunities that shows just how important connection is in grape growing. In this new series, we bring you 10 unique conversations, sharing a rich mix of views, experiences, knowledge, and questions from across our grape and wine community. From personal journeys to practical insights, each episode is designed to spark thought, build connection, and support well-being in our industry. So wherever you're listening, in the vineyard, on the road, or at home, we invite you to tune in and be part of building healthy minds and healthy vines together.
Jesslyn Francis Collins and Jessica Grozdanov are two emerging talents bringing fresh energy and diverse skills into the Australian wine industry. Jesslyn grew up in Toronto and has spent 15 years working in wine and hospitality, earning a sommelier certification and gaining vintage experience in Canada and Australia. She's now in the third year of her Viticulture and Oenology degree at the University of Adelaide, drawn here by its global reputation. Jessica, originally from Wollongong, started out in engineering and advanced manufacturing before discovering wine during a vintage on the New South Wales south coast. That spark led her to Adelaide, where she is wrapping up her master's degree in Viticulture and Oenology and preparing for an internship in Sonoma. Together, they are part of a new generation working to blend innovation, sustainability, and a sense of community into the future of wine. Here's Jesslyn and Jessica and their student wine they made this year put on the table for our tasting pleasure. That's pretty good.
Hey,
That's pretty good. Come on, you gotta take that.
that's going on the label.
Actually, I think you should in quotes.
Can we
pretty
quote
good?
that?
Mm-hmm. That is pretty good.
That
Actually,
is
it's tasting
very
really
good.
good.
I'm really happy with how it's looking.
Yeah, where's the fruit from?
Adelaide Hills. We made this as part of our class project. So we're pretty happy with how it's come along. I mean, yeah, it's right. It's not faulty. I think that was our
That's a good start. Yeah.
main goal.
I think if it's the first one you've ever made and Nick Ryan says that's pretty good, you got to take that.
That's it. So
Yeah, you got a future in this game.
cool. Yesterday I was in the lab with a few buckets making up this blend.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely was precise.
That is the hardest thing about these things, isn't it? Just the tiny little quantities you're working with, though. You can't get any real
definitely
ferment.
Yeah.
I'd say that's very good. Not that my opinion means
go on the
quite
label
as
too.
much
We can.
as Nick's does.
No, that's pretty smart.
It's tasty.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Right,
Okay,
well, now that the bar has been set,
Okay. Let me actually, no, you just taste it first and then I'll tell you my
better
story.
marks for marketing, though.
Oh, yeah. So this is actually from last year. This is a 2024.
Okay. Right,
Yeah.
despite no mention of that on the label.
I know. I forgot. I forgot.
Yeah, the legals on the label are slightly problematic.
It was, I just put a label on it to give it away as gifts, but pretty much,
Really good.
okay, I'll tell the story as you're tasting it. But
Not just saying.
my dear friend, her dad is the dairy man from the Barossa Valley, has a beautiful organic dairy farm and raises pigs and does mushrooms and everything. Anyways, we become friends. He has some vineyards that he sells the fruit from. Ran into him at the farmer's market on the Sunday, and he said, they missed a road. Do you want to come pick some grapes? I know you're learning how to make wine. So I packed up my wife the next morning. We drove up to the where is he? Somewhere in the Barossa. I don't remember. Sorry, I'm not from here.
No.
And picked the grapes, and then I literally made that in my kitchen in like a glass, like 60-liter
Yeah.
thing, and borrowed things from the university to make it. Anyways, it was my first wine ever. It's an unoaked Cabernet Sauvignon. This is not a thing we do.
No, but it has,
What are your two words?
Yeah, tannins are really good. It doesn't
really
need
good.
that oak strut. The tannins, natural fruit. Tannins are lovely.
It's so funny that you're tasting this wine
They're
that I made in my kitchen.
Actually, they're both really good.
Hey.
Like really, really good.
They are better than I was expecting they would be.
Hey,
Do
that's
you need wine for your wedding?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
You know how expensive wine is for a
We
wedding?
will work out a deal.
Yeah.
No problem.
But it's just
More than happy.
tripled in price after we
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good. So I think you should have arranged that before we had this,
like I said,
Stacey.
and even I've messed around, that
Mhm.
kitchen winemaking stuff, and keep things stable, clean,
Yeah.
bright, and let fruit
Mhm.
express itself rather than anything else.
Well, I've upgraded this year. I have a full barrel in my kitchen this year. So
In the kitchen,
still in the kitchen. Yeah.
Going to need a bigger
Yeah.
kitchen.
Yeah. Well, luckily the kitchen's big enough, but yeah, had to buy a little basket press and
So Cabernet off the same.
no, actually we got some Pinot from probably someone I shouldn't say, but I got some free Pinot from Adelaide Hills. And it's beautiful, but yeah, we'll see. It's my first go at Pinot.
So yeah,
But what fun,
Yeah.
right?
yeah, that's seriously, yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really impressive little wines, actually.
Yay.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was worth
We
coming
did a
to do the
thing.
podcast.
All right, that's it.
And I can tell you,
Pack this up.
I can tell
We're
you,
done now.
I have
Make-
seen some shit.
Yeah. I think that's better
Yeah,
than
I believe
than
it.
I expected as well because
Yeah.
we've tasted some
Yeah.
students and
Yeah.
a few
Yeah.
different things. So
Yeah.
like I think just having a goal of making a not bad wine,
Yeah.
and then we've been really happy.
Hey, pretty good.
A stable
pretty
one,
good,
yeah.
impressive,
Yeah, they're
yeah, it's
stable,
all
they're-
that.
I believe I
technical.
got really good. So
Yeah.
But they're
For both.
technically correct, but at the same token, they're not boring. There's a lovely fruit character. They look varietal.
amazing.
Yeah, I would happily drink those.
Great.
Yay.
Great. Someone give us a job.
Yeah. Can we
Yeah,
call out for that? Can we,
let's
get
make this the interview.
Little
but
little
clearly-
segue.
Clearly, there is winemaking chops there. The ones look really good.
That's a
Fantastic.
fairly
Yep.
glowing endorsement there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should pop Kenny's Grenache up in there.
Yeah.
And now the one we actually
if they
make.
smoke
No.
Kenny's Grenache.
Well, how do you feel being told that making your first wine and then it's not half bad? What's that like?
I think like it's awesome because we're doing it ourselves, and when you're doing you've never done it before, so I think you're like, oh, that's not bad, but we've got nothing to compare it to. So I think getting people outside to taste it, even when we've done it in class, but people then within the industry saying, hey, that's not faulty. I think that's all I was hoping for. But then that it's expressing what we tried to do, because that was, I guess, our goal. So look, I'm pretty stoked. If you saw us, obviously, I'm sure you did before.
Yeah. And
nervous.
I think the whole thing is like, if we're going to be making wine, we have to get used
Yes.
to people tasting our wine and, having their opinions because, it's an opinion.
Yeah, and exactly. It is only just an opinion, but it's got to be confronting.
Yeah,
Well, it's putting yourself out there. Isn't it?
definitely.
Yeah.
Like to be judged, and like people drinking wine are often quite judgy. Speaking from myself, I am very, very judgmental.
Yeah,
Well, you can afford to be. Yeah, good wine.
There's only so many bottles you're going to drink in your lifetime, is there?
Yes,
Len Evans' theory of capacity. So
Yes.
why waste time drinking?
100%.
So have you
But the other thing, I'm just sorry, but the technical side of them is impressive because I've seen a lot of faulty student wines. I get to judge the Australian schools winemaking competition as part of the Royal Adelaide Wine Show, and there's some interesting stuff you get through that. Some great wines as well, but some interesting stuff. But they're not only they're technically really correct, but they have personality.
And that's what I think we're like, obviously before coming to this, I said, we should bring in our student wine because I think we are proud of, I'm so proud of what we've done. I know, you've showed me that in your house in this, glass thing as well. So I think, we are proud of it. So it is we're going to take this opportunity because I think they're the things that, we'll probably talk about is they don't come that often sometimes.
Yeah.
So when these opportunities come up from, we're outside the industry, hey, let's put it on there.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. If people don't like it, great, I get feedback. We can improve from that. But, if we're doing something right,
and
motivation.
Humility,
it's,
we've got it.
Nick was talking about it in our first session today that, we are dealing with the most subjective thing in the world.
Definitely.
Right, really. And, I always say, that's why until I started this current job that I've got, I never used to like putting numbers in print because, it does still seem like trying to nail a fart to the wall. What is it? That's my 93 points. It's his 92 and your 97. What does that mean? But, if you make beautifully made wines that have some personality, that's a really good thing.
So we won't quite give this one a number.
We don't need a number.
We don't need
So there's obviously there's a natural capacity here that, what brought you to this point?
Jess?
You obviously always been able to do it, but you just didn't know until now.
Yeah, didn't know. I guess I've got, come from quite outside the industry, I guess a bit of a engineering background. So same kind of process of you've got a raw material, you do some treatments to it, some things that change the properties that determine its performance as a product. So, used to do that with making steel. And did a fair bit of stuff with like a makerspace, 3D printers, really cool things. Had a couple of years off as a snowboard instructor. And then when I came back, I thought, now's the time to try something different. I've always loved wine, but just drinking it, I mean, who doesn't? That's why we're all here. And really got interested in that science side of it. Kind of just did my own little research, but I love that it's an art. It's the same processes that I've known through engineering, but it's so much nicer making wine than steel.
So
like it's, like not that people haven't been supportive in other things, but, everyone's been so excited about it. And then
You'd hope steel is a supportive industry.
Yeah.
Oh, dad joke. Very good.
So I think it's really cool to come through and then like apply or bring with what I've done with me to help me now. Because I think, that's the thing. It's like, am I being stupid just changing everything now? 30, is it a time to start something new? But I guess, I just love it. Like,
it's fun.
I don't know. That was fun. I want to show you. I've never made something else. Like,
yeah. Are there a particular set of challenges for someone coming from outside the industry at such a obtuse angle?
Yeah. We've talked about it a fair bit. I think I really, really struggled just to get my foot in the door. I thought, I'd have at least some kind of background, before when I thought I wanted to try to get into wine, I thought, no point going to uni first. Let's get some hands-on work and see if you like it. You're not just standing around swelling wine all the time. And I just really struggled I emailed bunches around Australia, didn't hear back from anyone internationally as well. And, it ultimately, I really just struggled to find anything. So then I thought, okay, uni is going to be a way in. I can do that. And to me, it seemed like it was so connection-based, which is great once you're in. But from the outside, I don't have family in wine. I don't have any other connection. So I really kind of struggled. And there was a lot of hurdles to get over, cost to get in, moving, finding out things, just getting interest from it. So like, I'm so happy I did, but I really do think, it's quite insular.
So and you're taking a leap and paying for it as well, and moving away from engineering, which is solid, and you're making decent money, and then you're deciding that you want to throw that all out, not throw it away, but try something new. So was there a fair bit of self-doubt that went along with that?
Yeah, I was kind of, I guess, in a good stage where I thought, now's the time I've got to try it, otherwise I'm never going to get a shot again. Just moved back home, didn't have a job then, didn't have anything else. But I think, there'd be definitely even more if you're already in a consistent job year round that pays pretty well. There definitely was and absolutely still is. I finished this morning and right now I'm looking, oh crap, I've got to find a job in this. But Day one, maybe I'll live off this for a bit.
That's pretty good.
So we'll do that. So look, it's still there and I'm still seeing those challenges. I've made a decent wine, got pretty good marks and things like that, but there still is to get a job, you almost need to know someone to pass your name on, then get looked at.
What kind of pathways could be developed to bring more people from a wider catchment into the wine industry?
That's a great question. If we could figure that out. I think first and foremost, we just, you can't be what you can't see. There's so many things. If you're in the industry, you know about it. I am outside. Most people I talk to that I'm doing it, they don't even know you can go to uni for viticulture. Whereas, and they're like, what? And then it's a 4-year degree. So I think it seems like all the advertising. I actually looked at a job the other day, and one of the criteria was family background in winery or viticulture. And I get what they're trying to get, but it was criteria on there. So I think just a bit of having other people just see it there and talking positively about it. Like, there's a lot of shit that's going on, and it is tough, and we do need to talk about those tough things to attract those people from diverse backgrounds that can bring that knowledge and solve those problems. Let's celebrate who we are.
Also, we are both, mature students. Yeah. I'm doing the undergrad, so I'm doing the full 4 years.
With the kids.
Yeah.
With the children. And this is the point. It's, it is a university degree, but an 18-year-old just out of high school doesn't know anything about wine. They haven't developed a palate. They haven't had the chance to experience what wine is. So, it's kind of like a disservice that they're being put into a 4-year degree and coming out with still very little world knowledge. I think that's why I've really enjoyed this coming back to university. I've worked in wine, in hospitality, and I've worked in vineyards as well. But, to come back with that knowledge, with that background has really allowed me to, I think, take a lot more out of the experience than, some of my kiddie counterparts.
And it's a bit like in an earlier episode, we were talking to, Nick Dugmore at Stoke Wines, and he was talking about, his progression, and, he started doing the wine marketing degree, the old wine marketing degree at Roseworthy, and then, went out and was working in the wine trade for a bit and working vintages so he could go and travel and, doing that and building that, and then went back to do winemaking and almost shaped the degree a little bit to fit the wine person that he had become with that experience to that point. Yeah. And he said it all just started, it absorbed, it went in more easily and readily and more effectively than it probably would have
for
if
sure.
He was going in cold.
And I do feel like, for myself, I'm hoping, but also I do feel like I will be able to access a lot more opportunities coming out of this 4-year degree than someone who will be 22 or whatever, and still doesn't really know anything about wine. So I'm all for people going back to school later if you can afford to do it, because it is hard being poor in your mid to late 30s.
Yeah, particularly when part of your education is exposure to an increasingly expensive
but that's
product.
Why working as a som, I've it's the only way I've been able to taste majority of the wines that I need to taste. Yeah.
How did you get to be a som?
My first university experience back in Canada, I started bartending, so that got me into hospitality. And then out of uni, I did an arts degree, so I had nothing happening. Didn't want
nothing but a piece of paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Although
so
I got thrown out of an arts degree for not going enough. That's how lazy I was.
Fair enough. I mean, but I started working in restaurants. I started working in an Italian restaurant, all Italian wines. So just really got invested in learning about that, and then that kind of drove me into doing my SOM certification. So I did that in my mid-20s in Toronto. And then in the meantime, I was also working in Niagara, did vintages in Niagara, cellar hand during the week, and then scrubbing my nails and working in the city on the weekends. Yeah, so that I've kind of, again, family not in wine, come from a, farm background. But I fell in love with hospitality, fell in love with, the shine and the flashiness of it all, and eventually fell out of love with it and got out. I started working in coffee for a while. I was roasting, and then when I moved to Sydney, I got a job back in as a somm because it was a good job with the Maryvale Restaurant Group. We don't need to talk about that.
Newsworthy at the moment.
We don't need to talk about that. I'm no comment. But no, I was as a international, they do offer you sponsorship if you work with them, and I worked very hard with them.
Great people have gone through that,
Yeah, I mean, I had Franck Moreau as like my drinking buddy, like 3 nights a week. How fun! Like he's great, and they were great to me too. I was part of like one of the head somm team, and they flew us here to do like the Penfold experience, and there was definitely perks working with some of those guys. And actually, we were making a wine for Maryvale in the Yarra Valley with Mac Forbes, and so I was flying down there to go through the process. And being there, I was like, oh fuck, this is what I want to be doing. I don't want to be in the city anymore. So I had like that aha moment, and then speaking to all the winemakers that I've trusted and met in Australia, they're like, oh yeah, you got to go to Adelaide then. Go to do the degree, put the time in. It's worth it. So
because not everyone takes that extra step to nail down the academic side of it. I mean, there are a lot of people that would go from a fairly high somm position and go, well, I know everything I need to know. Watch me fly. What was it that really drove you to anchor down the academic side of it?
I think I just wanted to do it right, because also it wasn't just me, and bringing my wife along with me and asking her to uproot her life and move over. And I think at this stage of my life, like I just wanted to be very serious about it and very intentional. And hearing from everyone that I respect about, like learn that background, learn the whys as to, what you're doing and how it's happening. And I think, I don't know, it was like post-COVID, like I was like, yes, this sounds like a great idea. Go back to school. Like, I think it was a leap, but it felt like the right one. And like I'm working hard. I go to every lecture. I make sure I'm studying and like proving that this was the right choice to do. I'm not just like fluffing through like some other people.
I think that's not her. The biggest things that you see. Like I was like, geez, I am a proper mature age student. But like we've given up things and we're here for such a purposeful reason. Like it took me forever to decide to come here. I didn't really care about the name sorry, I shouldn't say that. But I just wanted to learn. And like I said beforehand, I actually wrote down like, what's limiting me? Like, I don't know why I feel this drive and passion to get into this industry for some unknown reason. I can't rationalize it, but it seemed like it was those connection and networks. And then so I was like, I spoke to lecturers. I asked, can I speak to past students from all different places? And it was a tough decision to make as well. Like I was going to, New Zealand, I wanted to go there and it's a 10th of the cost to go there versus here. But I'm so happy I decided here. And, you see that, there is these opportunities. We've obviously done well in class where we got invited to a guest. We're on a podcast now, like showing,
look at me now.
Wine.
Yeah.
So I think it shows that, if people are given those opportunities within that, we take it seriously. And it's been great because, I think once you're inside, those opportunities do come. You still need to work for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like right now, I mean, my last exam was yesterday. So this morning I started winter pruning. I'm volunteering my time at the uni with Ben Pike, who's an amazing teacher and so much fun. And so the next week I'm just donating my time, but also learning and to take that experience now to when I apply for a job, I think will, also give me a leg up, but we're doing the work. For free.
Yeah. Are we producing too many winemaking graduates?
That's a great question. And I mean, everyone keeps telling us that the industry is changing, things are shifting. I would say No, but in the sense that there are so many other jobs than just being a winemaker out there. And I think for a lot of people in our cohort, not including myself, I want to make wine. I'm doing it. But there are definitely people who it might not be actually what happens for them. And we are small. Like I think, like I said, undergrads now where there's 40 of us or so.
Okay.
Started out way more, but
I think Nick was saying this morning it was 150.
Yeah.
He was doing it, 150 coming out the other end, and
no,
that
definitely
many jobs around.
Yeah, definitely not. And yeah. I mean, that's always the big thing is, jobs, we hear it all the time. Jobs used to be like so easy to come by. And now it's going to be the opposite. Like you're going to have to like, struggle and work for it. But, I think also the big shifts, I mean, there's so much happening in wine right now, maybe less bulk wine is going to be produced, but maybe we're focusing more on quality. Maybe, I don't know, looking at it holistically, who knows? We will know when we get out there.
Yeah.
But,
and I think like for me, I'm quite new to it. Like obviously as well, I want to bake wine, great wine at that. But I'm so new to it. So I'm trying not to set my mind on something and just see the diversity that the field has. And, we are hearing that, it's crap out there and it's hard. But I think to me, that's also a sign of opportunity. Hopefully I can bring, some of my past background. I am passionate about that sustainability, looking after people when you're out there as well. So if we do have that diverse range and like the postgrads we're, 15, 20, so there's a bit less of us within that. But if they can bring that knowledge, and not everyone's there to make wine. Some people are just, there to learn, change, some time off. And things like that. And I think that's great. We need that diversity within it. But, there could be, jobs that, if you're making that sustainable equipment or, better processes for quality, you'll make that so much better if you know how the wine's made. Yep. You can't just have an engineer sit out there and say, this will do the job, if they don't know how that's going to affect the wine. So
everything we're talking about, vineyards and things, people used to grow grapes for yield, but now, you grow for quality. So if I was, knowing how many things can go wrong in a winery, if I was looking for an applicant, I had 10 applications on me and one of them was an ex-engineer. That one goes straight to the top.
There you go.
Anyone out there?
But when shit breaks in the winery at vintage time, an engineer can solve some of those problems. It's probably a pretty handy thing to have.
Be a referee.
That's a very handy thing to have, I reckon.
And the engineering.
That's it.
Was it validating from the start of going to uni that you're doing the right thing? Because you talk about this massive decision that you made, weren't sure about it, and it turned out to be terrific and you seem like you're pretty confident you're on the right track. But I went to uni myself, and a lot of people go to uni or go into a trade or whatever, and to start off with, they're like, I'm not sure if this is for me. Did you have that, or day one was like good?
I think probably because I put so much thought. I mean, I decided that I was coming 1 week before classes started. So like it was, pack everything up.
And where were you before you came in?
I was in Wollongong just before that. So not too far to go, but drove over in a day, 14, 15 hours, make it work. And within that first week, probably one of the few times in my life, I was like, I love this. Like it was overwhelming. I've moved to a lot of different places and tried a lot of different things, and I've never had almost such a culture shock moving to South Australia in the wine industry. It was like, whoa, these guys.
It's kind of insular on insular.
Yeah.
In a way.
I didn't expect that. Or like I said, I've moved overseas, worked in, 3 or 4 different careers, and this was a bit of a culture shock, but I did love it. And I think it's because before I decided, I kind of made it clear to myself of why I made that decision. I am taking this risk.
Yeah.
But why I loved it, people wanted to be here. And I guess this was the postgrads, we did have a bit more different experience. People have overcome some of those things. It's been great meeting some of the undergrads as well. And I'm so happy that we're all tied in. But look, that's not to say every day it doesn't come in. I'm like, should I keep this as a passion and, go do something else? But I don't think I can separate. Like I do, I love the science. I love the art. I do love talking shit, and it's
And I think I've always said, there are sort of two kinds of people in the wine industry. There are those conceived under canopies, the generational families, but then there are those that sort of fall into the quicksand and never really try and get out. Because, and I think that angle, and that's my angle as well. I think that angle is what, there's a genuine love for what you're doing. There's, you're here because, we do, and once you're in, you're kind of a lifer. You don't end up. I know a lot of people that used to sell toilet paper that ended up in the wine industry, but I don't know anyone from the wine industry that went to sell toilet paper.
Yeah.
So, I think that being that second cohort brings a lot of value. I mean, there's something great about the generational winemaking families as well, but to choose this life.
And it's to access those, I think. Like, I am so excited. Like, if I just make friends with all the, like, I'll just be happy going around and trying all their wines. So it is great when you go in and,
it's definitely like, hard to crack in, like hard to get, friendly with winemakers, but we're almost there. Like, I feel like
we're getting there.
We're gonna prove ourselves a little more, do some work. Yeah. I'm going to be doing vintage in the Hunter Valley this year at Broken Wood. So I feel like
the second winemaking university in Australia.
Exactly. I feel like that will be a very good experience, but also like, like my introduction, or like me showing like, this is what I can do. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
This is how good I am on a forklift type of thing, like work hard, make a name for yourself in that sense.
And then dominate the options games every night.
Yeah, that's it.
From the ex-som background as well, do you have a different perspective on that career now, and then those people in those roles?
Oh my God!
when you start taking your own wine around and have to see some of these gatekeepers.
Oh my God!
Who tell you no one drinks Cabernet anymore. It's not cool, and people don't like tannin, and then they've got 400 Barolos on their list.
It's true. Yeah, it was one of those. I'm so sorry. I think it's definitely going to be interesting. I don't know if I really hope I can, if I'm making wine, I can have a very good sales team that can help do that as well, because I don't know. I feel like now that it's like my thing, like I think I'm going to be a lot more like self-conscious about it.
But it's been so good having Jess in your class, like in sensory classes as well, right? We're all new to it. We don't know, a lot of things, and, we're very basic in how we talk about things. And then when you hear Jess with her background, I think it's important for us to know that's how the product is being consumed in a lot of things.
Yeah.
So it's been so valuable. And I don't know how much of you said, but like, I remember like at the beginning, you explained something so well that one of the teachers couldn't, and I went up, like, I didn't know you then. I was like, thanks, Jess. That was so good. The way you said that, and like, look, she's not a wanker about it.
Yeah.
So it's been, I think, so good having those kind of people in the background that's related to the industry and that knowledge that she's got of how people will talk about your product. You can't separate that. You can't separate the grapes. You can't separate the soil, the climate, to the winemaking, to how it's going to be consumed. So I think it's been awesome having people like this.
Yeah.
To interrupt that.
No, it's just interesting. Like, I don't know. People say like people aren't drinking wine as much anymore either, and restaurants are having a hard time right now with just being able to pay their bills, and I think that is going to change a little bit, or continue to change over the next few years, and maybe our future is what other ways can we sell wine? How else can we make this a viable industry to work in and support ourselves? And I don't know. We were talking about this morning with as we were pruning, and we're talking about like, well, agro-tourism. Like if you go to Italy, you can go a place and stay there and drink their wine and buy it, and I don't know. Maybe selling wine will be a very different thing in a few years, because
maybe you can come back to the university and teach a sommelier management unit or something.
I like that. Yeah.
How to deal with the gatekeepers.
Yes. Yeah.
And Jesslyn,
really
you've looked into Nolo.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Wines as well. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah. So another part of going back to university is delving into that science side and really like, I really took to, microbiology and had Christian Varela, is amazing, kind of took me under his wing, and I worked in his lab last summer. Yeah, they're doing a project now with Treasury, looking at microstability in Nolo wines. So we just did a lot of phenotyping with different levels of alcohol, with different levels of DMDC, or things that go into Nolo wines now, and to stabilize them, and just to see if there is something on the micro side, different yeast or bacteria that can help produce less alcohol, maybe some more glycerol, or more of a mouthfeel texture without having as much ethanol in it. So.
What did you find?
It's
solved it all, sorted.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing we found is that there isn't a lot of stability in a lot of those wines right now, but they're meant to be enjoyed young, and once you open it and you drink it fast, it's pretty much, and they all have a lot of sugar in it. So we're looking at ways to reduce sugar as well. But it's part of a bigger PhD that a friend of mine is doing, and I was kind of helping with that. But there is definitely room for improvement.
Do you think there's a future for low alcohol?
Definitely.
wines?
Oh yeah. There is I think Treasury just opened their facility last week or a couple weeks ago. I think it's going to be a big focus, and it's there, it is possible, but right now everything just tastes like juice. Yeah. Not great.
A lot of things are possible.
Yes.
Whether they are worth pursuing is another thing.
Sure. But,
yeah.
I think I think no alcohol wines just have a kombucha, but the low alcohol wines I think are very interesting, because there are a lot of projects right now looking at different the different metabolic pathways of certain yeasts, that instead of creating ethanol, they create different end products that aren't acetic acid as well.
With what kind of ABV ceiling?
I think 7. I think 7 is probably, even the 7s that we've tried are not horrible, which is great. It's a good start. It's a start. But more for whites, because you can add a bit of sugar and chill it down, and that disguises a lot of the flavors. But
well, there's a lot of work to be done. That's all very interesting work.
It is interesting.
Did you go to, back to do a 4-year degree to make it non-alcoholic wine?
No. But I was considering doing an honors next year in that, but I was like, that's interesting, but I want to make great wine, and that is, that's not tinkering in a lab as much as it is super interesting and fun. It's it's understanding your vineyards and your terroir, and I want to be doing that. That's my future.
Where do you think you will make that great wine?
That's a great question. My wife asks me that all the time.
She wants to know where you're dragging her next.
Yes, exactly. I don't know. I think I'm at a point where I think this time next year, I'm going to be very much focusing on getting a good job. And where would I like to, if I stay in Australia, which I'm hoping to, I've just applied for PR, so you can't kick me out.
Okay, we'll have you.
But I think definitely I would tend towards a cooler climate, maybe Tasmania, Yarra Valley, Mornington, that's the dream for sure. Or even into New Zealand. But I'm just, I would say probably Yarra. I don't know.
That's sort of the winemaker you.
Yeah. I'm not like a. Despite my Cabernet, I'm not a.
Despite your Barossa Cabernet.
Yes, yeah.
Very lovely.
It was
Barossa
free.
Cabernet.
It was free.
It's proper Barossa Cabernet. You call it Cabernet, though.
Yeah, I like that. But I think that's the goal is, I would love to work under someone who does and is recognized for their excellence, and learn from that and see where that takes me.
Yeah, having finished exams, yesterday or today, you never finished learning there. You're not done.
Never. Yeah.
You almost opened up how much there is to learn, I think. It's
totally.
I've just got through the first page.
And everything that we're learning, like what we're learning is really basic. Like it is, I think we are learning how to make wine that is stable. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And
science and then choose.
Yeah. And then
you can't make great without making good.
Yeah. And then we've had, Dave Fletcher came in and did a tasting with us, and we're asking him like, oh, okay, so he's like, nah, I don't use a thermometer. Like, I don't know, it's done when I know it's done. It's like, okay, so that's the same thing with drawing. Like you can eventually paint like a Picasso, but you want to make sure you can actually draw first.
Yeah, you want to be able to take it to the edge of the cliff,
and then forget it.
The view's the best, but you need to know when to stop falling off the edge.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Jess? Where's your great wine going to come from?
Yeah, look, I mean, that's such a hard question as well. Like, how do you answer it? Like, definitely somewhere along the lines like that. I've obviously thought of, would love to go Yarra, Tassie or Margaret River. Somewhere like New Zealand as well is definitely on the cards.
Better snowboarding in
Otago
than there is in Margaret River.
Kind of all started with when I was trying to move to New Zealand during COVID, and that's kind of where this whole, stuff a real job kind of came from. So I want to get back there and do that. And how good's that? Yeah, you can work your ass off through vintage and then go have fun over winter, or travel around. I think at the moment I just want to get experience. I know how much I don't know by going to uni like today. So without kind of setting my mind on like, oh, I want to go here and be sure about that, I'm really excited just to see the diversity, and like I'm enjoying so much drinking diversely now. I never have, you're kind of stuck with the same things that mum and dad used to drink or things like that. So for me, it's just opening it up. And obviously there's things that I'm attracted to, those kind of places. But I'm excited to see where it is. And even, like I said, with those, whether it be in the vineyard or in the winery or the combination, and, using tech, helping people, make it safer for people, make it better quality things for people. And, it's hard, let's keep the people in that high value jobs. Let's create those jobs, but, using tech, but respecting the tradition that's within it. Like, it is such a traditional industry, but there's, some things that let's use some tech. Let's be sustainable. Let's look, we're going to be the ones that are hit first by it all. So.
Yeah. We're telling the story of climate change.
Being mature age students, do you struggle at all with the instability of this? Like you're trying to make this all happen for yourselves, and obviously it sounds like it's going really well. And Jess, you're talking about potentially moving all over the place and the world's your oyster kind of a thing. But then the other side of that is it's a time where lots of people are settling down and they're doing the same old thing. And part of the reason you've made the decision you've made is because you wanted to do something different. But the other side of that coin, is that ever difficult to deal with, like not knowing, or none of us know what the future is going to bring, but really not knowing in the short term?
I guess like it is tricky. Most of my friends are married now, having kids, not moving, and you do see that, and you start to think like, am I doing something silly now, like just starting all over? But I think being passionate about what you're doing and respect, like I'm still really enjoying it. This is probably the most stable I have been in the last year, the last 5-6 years.
She's been like living out of her car mostly.
I've been moving, everywhere. So this has been my stability, which I think it has kind of, maybe looking at it now, it has been part of that progress to, that longer term. Like I do see this as a long-term thing. It's not, like, obviously I love snowboarding and things, but I knew that was just, I loved it so much. And it'll always be a part of what I want to do. But I think this provides, if I can make it work, you can travel with it. You can do all these things you want. You can, there's probably things that the industry needs to be better at, that you can have a family within it, working around vintage times and things like that. But look, there's always those questions with life, but I've really tried to push things throughout my life, and there's a lot of stuff that has turned to shit. But from that, the best things have happened to me. So I think it's just continually reassessing wherever you are. What almost scares me the most is if I went to uni, got a job at the steelworks, and look, I'd be loving it, and but like I'd still be in that same spot making the same crap and wouldn't be here talking about cool wine and stuff. So it's that lack of,
at best, you'd be making some Chambourcin in the Shoalhaven.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's where the first stuff that I did down there. So it's, I think for me, it's got to be personal thing, and that's something that, you know, we do question and deal with, but I can't see myself doing that normal thing. Like,
and you don't have to live with that unanswered question. And I suppose if you're one of those people that has that, you feel like you've got a passion or interest inside of you, then you can't unthink it, right?
Yes.
Once you start thinking about it, and then it's like almost not a decision anymore.
Yeah. And I think, my friends and family are so supportive with that as well. You know, they are also excited. They love seeing where I'm going next. And I think that's important to have that strong family and friends background that, you know, there is that stability there.
Have they tried your wine yet?
No, I think my parents came to visit and we had it like mid-ferment. I mean, Dad just loved the sugar in it.
Yeah.
And I took a little bit home, I think, over the break. And my sister-in-law loved it, and she doesn't drink wine. So it's nice.
Okay. So that investment might pay off.
So the investments, I'm trying to like get it out there, get the investments in there. But look, it is something that is special. So I think it's having that support network around you helps with all those unknowns.
On that support, Jesslyn, what's been the reality of your wife supporting you moving
financially? Yes, huge, huge. Yeah, I'm still international student, so I don't get to, I don't HEX or anything. Yeah. I'm paying up front, and she's definitely supporting me, and like so lucky. Like I wouldn't be able to do it without her. I think that's also driving me to do my best as well, because, you know, I'm not just doing it for myself. I'm doing it for us, for our future, for, I'm building a life for both of us. She's a violinist, so she's very flexible with where she can live and work, and that's very helpful. But yeah, it's been, I don't think I would have come here if that wasn't the case. If she was, it wasn't as...
She able to find her own sort of network and community here when she got here?
She had a job here before we even got here. So she works, she builds orchestral instruments as well, and was doing that in Sydney. And then, had a job here at, shout out, Size Music. She runs the string department there now. So has all her music friends. She plays in orchestra, loves it. She loves it here. She doesn't want to leave.
No, there are winemaking jobs here.
There are, yes, which would be amazing too. Absolutely.
How does Australia compare to Canada?
Goodness, in what sense? I mean, I love it here. You know, I'm not a snow bunny myself.
I've been to Canada.
Yeah, I love the warmth. I came to Australia kind of, to do like my working holiday visa thing, and ended up getting stuck here through COVID, which ended up being a wonderful thing. And I mean, if are we talking wine, or are we talking like vibes?
I'm talking about why would you want to settle in Australia rather than go back home?
It's so beautiful here. Like I think, Canada, lovely, but like
I want to make ice wine.
No more Vidal. We're done. Yeah. No, but it's definitely cold here, and my house is colder than my house in Canada ever was. But I fell in love. Like, I love the beaches. I love the hiking, the trees, like the eucalyptus trees. I fell in love the minute I got here. The people, it's, the way of life, the distance from the United States. These are all beautiful things. And
so you'll tolerate some eucalypt and Cabernet then? You'll look for some.
Yes, well, I mean, that's just in your mog. You just got to keep it out of your bins. Maybe do hand harvesting. I don't know, but
be selective.
Yes, yeah, but I'm excited for it to be my home for a good while longer as well.
Not in danger of being the 51st state of the United States either.
So annoying.
That's a positive.
Yeah. Although I can't say anything bad because I'm traveling to the States, and I don't want to get turned away
or anything like that.
Yes, I've already eliminated the T word from my phone record.
Yeah.
So.
Don't put anything.
But I mean, Canada is always, it's beautiful. The wine industry there is, fledgling, struggling usually, but also there has been some fantastic wines from there. A place I worked at, Taw's Winery in Niagara, and they got their Chardonnay one year was, on the cover of Decanter. Like, how cool is that? Yeah, I think there's a lot of people doing really good quality, and I gotta say, as climate change happens, the grapes are getting better. It's getting a lot easier to grow there. But
one vote for climate change there.
That'll help it out. Let's warm it up a bit.
The Champagne are the ones that keep going, no, we like this climate change.
We need a
there's 14% alcohol.
Every year we declare a vintage. It's great.
Yeah. No, but it's good. It's very expensive to make wine there. It's very difficult to make wine there, so you don't get to see it as much. But I think that makes it special as well.
So, what if someone was to come to you, tomorrow and say, I'm considering a career change, I'm going to be a mature age student, want to do winemaking at, in Adelaide, what's your advice to them?
Do it. Well, I think to me, it's why. Again, like, what is that reasoning behind? And, if that reasoning is because I want to learn something new, that's fine. Like, and if that works, and there are people in our degree that are doing that, I think to me, I put that question back almost on the industry of how can we get more of these people? Because as that mature age, we can look at, we absolutely need the people that have grown up in those families. I'm not saying we get rid of, like, we absolutely need that. But how can we capture these people that have these diverse backgrounds? They're going to be the people that might look at the problem differently. Look, there's a lot for us to learn. Like, there's so much I don't know. We can't come in and, but I think having that diversity helps bring it. And I think what I'm learning, I'd say to someone is, it's not a start again. That is one of those things that I have feared the whole time. Am I being dumb just starting again with 20-year-olds? I think be proud of what you've done before. Bring that with you. The more I've learned, the more I can see, this makes sense with what I've done before. Working as a snowboard instructor, you had to deal with people. That's going to help you talk about your wine. Like, you learn how to adapt things to it. So look, again, it's going to depend on people's background, their industry. You need to be able to support yourself. Like I said, I've been lucky. I've had family, friends, the financial means to do that, which I know a lot of people can't, but I am loving it still so much. So I never try to give advice to anyone, but I'll tell you my story. And I think we need more people with that, and it'd make our classes great too, I think.
And I think the only thing I would add on to that is, if you are going to do it, like, do it 100%.
Yes.
Like, meet your lecturers, like, listen to them. If there's, an opportunity to go to a tasting, do it. Join the ASVO, like
prune the vineyards.
Do it. Like, get out there, like, like, suck the marrow out of it, because there is not that many times in your adult life you get to, like, take a 4-year pause from industry, from burnout, there is burnout in school too, but it's very different. Sorry, uni, not school.
Come on, we're big kids.
Sorry.
Australian big kids.
But, I think if it's something you're going to do, like, do all of it, make it more than worth your while, because, otherwise what's the point?
Yeah. Well, I always think, the best, the most interesting winemakers I know are the most rounded in experience and interest. And, you can talk music with them, or books with them, or,
and bring
politics
that story
or whatever else, rather. You don't need to, talk about particular yeast strains or bomates or canopy management the whole time. And there's, wine is an enriching part of life, and you get better wines when they're made by people with richer lives.
And wine is, not. You can definitely just drink wine on its own, but it is, it's part of the bigger picture. It's part of, sharing dinners, sharing experiences with people, with food. Like, it's meant to be enjoyed, in context with other people. And, I think that's what I love about it. The all of it, the experience, the food, the people, getting, a little tipsy. That's always fun too. Like,
this is
It was so different when I got into coffee. People were, I would do like Q grading, and people just get more intense and less tolerable.
People think wine people slurp.
Oh my God.
Cupping of coffee is.
And way more wankers than coffee, I gotta say. at least with wine, the more you drink, you get a little.
We still want to have fun. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the more you drink the coffee, just the
like, look, at the end of the day, we're making booze, and it's, we're here to have fun, and hopefully someone else can have that enjoyment through something we do. And I had that moment before I came in. I was like, look, alcohol is bad for you, right? We're clear on that. I'm like, do I want to be part of something that could cause harm to someone? And I wouldn't want to work in anything like that. But it is so much more than that with what you just said, right? There are so many benefits, obviously, we need to be responsible with things or not at times, but I think to me, it has that diversity. And, if we can get people from diverse backgrounds or mature age students that have that story, that have overcome things to be there, and they're there for that reason, not just, I don't know what else to do. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to have that quality. Yeah, look, our quantity probably, like I said, is dropping. That's what we're hearing. We've got too much stock of it. But let's have the best stuff we can, tell that story and share that story, I think, with everyone. And this is like the engineer side of me. It's like, what are you talking about? Like all this artsy, stuff. But it's true, right?
There is. We've said it a couple of times through the course of today, but there is so much beauty and abundance, in that bottle that more than compensates for the 14% of that's ethanol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's so much more value in that than even if you do want to demonize the ethanol, that it's more than cancelled out by, I think, everything that is great and what a bottle of wine represents. And I think we'll see great bottles of wine from both of you over the years. We look forward to
absolutely.
To seeing them. And nice to be here at the start of some significant winemaking careers.
Oh, wow.
There you go. You've heard from the horse's mouth that you're on the right track. So that's going to be encouraging.
Yep. And have some more.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, you guys got to get to a party. I think you should take that with you.
Yeah. I'm not drinking that. I got better stuff.
Exactly.
There's the other half bottle there. That's all.
That's not right.
I'll leave that there.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Head to the Wine Grape Council of South Australia website for links and further resources. This is part of a bigger conversation, so feel free to share this podcast with your mates and look after yourselves. Cheers.